I want to thank my friend Brian from Vintage Vanlife for letting me use his, what you call that thing? I just remembered what it was when I went to hit record, and now I can't remember, and this happens to me all the time. Trail cam. And yeah, so a lot of times I take like 20 takes because I can never remember stuff that I want to say. But definitely want to thank my friend Brian from Vintage Vanlife for letting me use his camera. If you don't know him, I'm going to put a link down below to go check out his channel. I do apologize for the wind, but today I kind of want to take you guys up to this cabin that's behind my camp. And once we get up there, I'll kind of decide what I want to do next. I got a couple ideas, but I haven't fully decided yet. And for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Paul, and to all my regular viewers and subscribers, welcome back. I hope you all had a great new year. Fun fact, this video I'm recording, I plan on releasing the same day I'm recording it because, well, I wanted to do a New Year's video, but we had rain, and then, yeah, I wasn't quite sure what to do for a New Year's video for a couple of different reasons, and I will be talking about that on this hike. So this is actually an abandoned miner's cabin. I don't know much history about it. I couldn't really find anything online. There is a date here in the cement that says 1954, so I'm assuming it was built around then, and then abandoned sometime after that, obviously. There are some abandoned mines in the area of Quartzsite. In fact, there is one just north of here by Q Mountain, where I'm thinking we might go next. Now, this cabin is hardly a well-kept secret. There is ATV trails that converge. There's one here, there's one in front of me, there's like 2 or 3 that are on the other side of the cabin, and they all kind of converge on this cabin, so it's not a very well-kept secret. And you can also see the LTVA from here. So yeah, you can see all of my fellow campers down there camping out in the LTVA. And if you don't know what the LTVA, that's basically a long-term visitor area ran by the Bureau of Land Management, and I'll talk about that in a future video, maybe, possibly. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, right up there, that is Q Mountain, and then just on the other side of that hill there is an abandoned mine. So I'm thinking maybe we will head that way. So like I was saying earlier, I wanted to make a New Year's video, but I really didn't know kind of what to talk about or what to do. And we got some rain and drizzle New Year's Eve, so not a whole lot was going on here in Quartzsite. There was a few little get-togethers in town, but for the most part, everything outside was canceled. But I've been really thinking on what I want to do in 2026. 2025 was not it's probably my least favorite year on the road. I barely did any traveling, and if any of you are from my old channel, you know that I've done a lot of traveling. And for those of you who are wondering what I'm talking about, I used to have another channel called Seeking New Horizons. Long story short, I was treating that very much like a job. I got burnt out, quit for YouTube for like a year and a half. Had some friends and family ask me to come back, so I created this channel, and this channel is definitely more of just a hobby, I guess you can say. I'm not like all gun-ho and have like an entire schedule built out on where I want to be and what I want to do and yada yada and blah blah blah. But yeah, so 2025 was not my best year for living on the road. looks like we got a another remnant here of an abandoned cabin, possibly. There's not much left. Looks like just this little bit of what remains of, I'm going to assume, the walls of the fireplace. As I was saying earlier, though, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do for 2026 because 2025 was not my favorite year on the road. My first year on the road, I think I visited like 27 different states, and then 2026, I went and saw a bunch of stuff in California and around here out west. Not 2026, but 2024, and then 2025 pretty much was just in Arizona and Utah, a little bit in Wyoming, and a little bit in Nevada, and that was about it. Not what I envisioned when I'd hit the road, so I've really been thinking about what this next year looks like and my future life as a nomad or a van lifer, if you will, and what is that going to look like? What do I want to look like? And what are some of my goals? Because I actually had quite a couple of different goals when I first started out on the road. We are getting closer to Q Mountain. There's actually a trail that goes up through there. Will take us back to the mine, and then I don't know if you can see it very well, but there's a zigzag going up Q Mountain, and it will give us 360-degree views of the area around us. So that is my plan, is to get you all up there, and once again, I hear the wind, so I'm pretty sure this audio is probably not going to be that great. I apologize. There's not much I can do about it. There's so many ant hills out here. It's so cool. I love watching ants just kind of scurry around and do their thing. It's pretty neat to watch them. Quartzsite in this area has kind of always been fascinating to me because this whole area just looks like a dump truck full of gravel just came out here and just like, oh, this area just looks like it'd be a great spot to dump my truck. My biggest plans when I hit the road back in December of 22 was I wanted to see all of the lower 48. I've actually kind of bumped that up to I want to see all the 50 states in the United States. And I wanted to buy some property in the next 10 years. So my thought was if I travel in my minivan, I should be able to save money back for that goal. And here I am 3 years into my travels and I have nothing saved. So that was probably, I look back on it now and I realize that probably wasn't even attainable to begin with since I'm not constantly working. But I also, in my mind, thought in 10 years that my first channel I created, I might have been able to make something out of that. But after like 2 years of putting like 40 hours a week into it, not getting anything in return, I just kind of hit a brick wall. And yeah, so that's that. And like I said, this channel is kind of just more, I'm just doing a lot more in a relaxed style. I don't really have plans, I just do. pretty cool little spot to come out here and check out. And I'm not exactly sure what they used to mine here. I think it might have been quartzite, since this is called the town of Quartzsite. I really don't know, but still kind of a neat little place to stop. And once again, this isn't a very secretive spot. There's a bunch of ATV trails that lead up to this point, and then right behind me is, right out there is some more of the LTVA. And then if I spin you around a little bit more, that's the big tent and pretty much the town of Quartzsite. So like I said, it's not a very hidden spot and just a cool little place to come and check out. But our next stop is the top of Q Mountain. And as I was saying earlier, I have these goals in mind. And so in 2026, I really felt like I just needed to figure something out, and something needs to change for me. And I also want to get out of my van because it is kind of tight. I know I've talked about a Subi. That still might be an option if I get a light tow behind. I don't know. I really don't know what I want. So take everything I say with a grain of salt half the time. But my minivan is approaching 200,000 miles. It does have a noise on startup. I don't think it quite builds oil pressure like it should. And like I said, it's pushing 200,000 miles and it is time to get replaced. Oh, which way do I want to go? And all these things cost money. Plus, I'm in my mid 40s. I just turned 44 in August. So retirement, or the idea of retirement, who knows if we'll actually be able to retire in this day and age. But anyways, retirement is definitely something I need to think about as well and start planning for that. So I have to think about, I've just been thinking about all this stuff lately. So just a lot of stuff I've been thinking about. What do I want out of life, I guess you can say? What do I want to make this life more enjoyable? And I'm not even talking about like buying a big house and fancy cars and things like that, but just, to make life a little more comfortable on the road. Look at that view behind me. Isn't it amazing? But yeah, so I've been just thinking on what I can do to accomplish some of these goals I have. And while I can't travel like I originally wanted to, I really also don't want to give up on like the nomadic lifestyle, the van life lifestyle. So I've actually been tossing around the idea of looking for a job where I can go somewhere, work for a few years. I don't want an apartment. I do know that. So I came up with the decision that I need to find somewhere I can work for the next few years. And that means I need to find a spot that I can stay in my van, because I don't want to get an apartment or anything. Somewhere I can stay in my van. So that means it needs to be somewhere with temperate climate, and possibly a company that I can transfer every few years. I have considered places here in Arizona. There's Prescott, Arizona, which the temperature is pretty climate all year round there. There is like the San Francisco Bay Area in California. It's pretty, the weather's pretty temperate there too. It doesn't get too cold, it doesn't get too hot. And then the other option is heading back east to South Carolina there. And the area I'm thinking about in South Carolina is also very temperate and mild. And one of the benefits about South Carolina I have is I know an entire family out there. I have a friend I've known since the 7th grade. She lives out there. Her sisters and brother have moved out there. Her parents have moved out there. So that would be kind of nice to hang out with them and spend time with them. But also at the same time, I really like it out west. Out here out west, there's nothing like this out east. I'm not a big desert person. I do like my trees, but out west there is a bunch more national forest and BLM land. And out east, you really don't have that, especially in Indiana, where I come from. So one of my things that I'm looking at is where can I find work, possibly a company that I can transfer maybe every couple of years, and 3, a place that has access to natural resources that I can go out and hike, camp, and enjoy things like that. Apologies for the wind, but we are on top of Q Mountain, and you can see the town of Quartzsite below. I-10 running right down the middle of it, and yeah, just probably one of the best areas where you can see everything that there is to see in Quartzsite. And the big tent is on the other side of the Arizona flag. We got all that BLM and long-term visitor area. This is pretty much similar to what we saw on the hill over by the mine. If I put that in, I don't know if I did or not. I'm still recording, so who knows what I do in the editing mode. So either this is your second time seeing this, or maybe your first time. Only time will tell. But yeah, what an amazing view up here. And just wide open spaces. Just wide open. I was trying to come up to the front of the mountain to capture the Q, but I think I can really see it from this angle, and I'm getting close to private property. It also looks like there might be a another abandoned mine over there. Not really sure though. I'm not gonna go there, but I tried. But yeah, I'm getting close to this RV park or housing addition or whatever it is, and that's private property, and I want to respect their property. That's one thing I kind of have a pet peeve about. We can argue about whether or not people can actually own land and all this other stuff, but the bottom line is, as a person who likes to camp out on public land, one of the ways we can keep access to public land is, 1, respecting private property. Because if you start getting people complaining that, hey, I keep getting all these people trespassing, and then you're going to start getting trouble, and then they're probably going to shut that area down to camping and things like that. And 2 is just keeping the area clean. Because once again, if you just trash an area out, they will shut it down because people are abusing it. So yeah, just clean up after yourselves, and also follow the 14-day rule. I know a lot of people are like, they're against it, but in my mind, it's like, yeah, that's our land, my land, your land. But at the same time, if you decide to camp out there and not move and stay there all year round, and then nobody else can enjoy that land that is all of our land. So yeah, I'll get off my high horse now. Anyways, back to what I was talking about. I don't really remember where I left off. I think I was talking about where I was going to go or what I wanted to do or what my plans were. So I'm going to just really quickly say I ruled out California, the San Francisco area. While I would love to be there and be by the ocean, I don't feel comfortable being there in my minivan. If I was in like a Transit or a ProMaster or even a cargo van, I think I would feel better about it because it doesn't have all the windows that my minivan does, and just maybe having something that doesn't have a million windows and you can just see right in would make me feel a little bit better for people not being able to spy in and see in and things like that. So I did rule that out. I was thinking about just staying here in Arizona. I kind of ruled that out because the only option would be to come to Quartzsite and then go to like the Flagstaff area or Kingman area during the summers, and then just bounce back between the 2 spots. That really didn't appeal to me. There is an area around Prescott, Arizona that has pretty temperate temperature, and I could probably stay all year there, but I don't know much about that area and just don't want to stay in Arizona. Nothing against Arizona, you're a beautiful state, but I just don't think I want to stay in Arizona for an entire year or more. So I've actually decided to go to South Carolina. So I'm going to be booking it out east, even though I would love to stay out west where there is all the BLM land, the National Forest, and things like that. The main reason I chose South Carolina and why I didn't even decide to go home back to Indiana, because I could easily go back to Indiana as well and find work there, but I didn't want to deal with the winters, and not so much the winters, but all the salt they put on the road during the winters that just destroy vehicles. And if I'm wanting to, have a home on wheels, I don't want it to get eaten away by all the salt. So I decided on South Carolina. And the reason I chose South Carolina is because it does have a temperate climate. Not a desert person. I like grass. I like trees. South Carolina has that. The area I'm looking at in South Carolina is kind of in the northeast part of South Carolina, so I'll be a few hours from the ocean. I'll be only like an hour and a half or so from like Asheville, North Carolina, so the Blue Ridge Parkway. There's a national forest up there. There's also a national forest in South Carolina. And I'll have easy access to East Tennessee, which is an area I absolutely love. And the icing on the cake of all that is I have a friend that lives in South Carolina that I have known since the 7th grade. And since we've been friends for so long, I know her family. I know all of her siblings and her parents. I've known them all for like 30 plus years, so they're like extended family to me. So that is another reason I'm going out that way, just to get to spend some time with my friends. I also will have support from them, and hopefully I can return the favor and support them as well, and anything that they might need help with, whatever it is, yard work or home improvements, or I don't know, whatever they might need help with. And so that's why I decided to go to South Carolina, and I am going to be leaving Quartzsite here pretty soon. My goal is to leave here about the end of January. I'm thinking probably around the 25th. I'm going to be heading out. On the 23rd, my friends James and Rachel with Drums Manifest Truth are going to be holding one of my favorite husband and wife cover band duos, the Bus Kings, on the 23rd, and I want to be here for that and help support them with that and help with that event. If you follow me on Instagram or are friends with me on Instagram, I have a link to my Instagram down below. You've probably seen me post a lot of videos from them last year, and I'm excited to be able to see them this year. And they went to North Carolina last year, so if I'm lucky, maybe they'll go to North Carolina again this year, and I'll be able to see them this summer when I'm in South Carolina, because I'm going to be like an hour and a half from like Asheville. So I decided I'm going to leave Quartzsite a lot earlier than I thought. I thought I was going to be here till like the end of March. I had that one job that came up. I thought I was going to have more work with them. That didn't pan out. I had another job offer, and I went there and I talked to the person about the job, but they had already hired somebody before I got there to talk to them. And they were kind of like, oh, well, we don't like this person. We're going to fire them. Hey, why don't you come back after lunch? And that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. There was no talk about pay or what I was going to be doing or anything like that. And the fact that they just hired this person and half a day later, they're like, we're firing them. I don't know. It just kind of seemed weird to me. And then I have had other possibilities of work in the area, but I don't know. They just didn't feel right. And this just feels right, going to South Carolina for a spell, going there for 2 years and, saving money and working on these long-term goals of saving up for some property, working towards, putting some money back for retirement. I'm not looking to be rich. I'm not looking to climb any corporate ladder. I did that before I hit the road, and I was the most miserable I've ever been. And I just want enough to put gas in my tank, food in my belly, and not have to stress about it like I have the past several months. It's really been weighing on me. Now that I've made this decision, I feel so much better. And for the past week or so, actually longer than that, but definitely the past week or so, it's really been heavy on me. And after talking to my friend and kind of working things out, I just think this is the best thing for me, and that is what I'll be doing. So I will be leaving Quartzsite in the next few weeks, about 3 weeks from now, and I'll be making my way to South Carolina to start my new chapter. It won't be quite as nomadic, but I'll probably more than likely still be doing the whole van life thing. And hopefully this summer I'll be looking at getting a new rig whatever that might be with this new plan kind of rolling out, while I might like to have like a Subaru Outback or something. Ideally, I don't think that'll be feasible, so maybe I might look at more of a camper van. I don't know. It's too early to tell. That's probably like another 6-7 months down the road, so I'm not going to worry about it. But anyways, I am going to, I'm going to go ahead and just wrap this video up here because I've been talking so long now. This is already at like 4 minutes. So if you made it to the end of the video, thank you. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed some of the sights I showed you. I was kind of hoping that would help break this video up a little bit and not just be me sitting here talking forever. So yeah, I hope you all come along for the adventure. I'll still be in Quartzsite for a few more weeks, so I'll try to figure something out. There's RTR, the big tent, the RV show, which usually I'm excited for, but I'm really not excited for this year. I'm feeling kind of peopled out, so I don't know if I'll do any of that. I honestly don't know what I'm going to do for the next 3 weeks, but I guess we'll find out together. So till then, you all take care, and I will see you all in the next video.